Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to the BlkPrint. J5 in the building. Remotely, Josh Pease. What's going on, brother?
Man, we here. Remote.
Yeah,
It's
remote.
crazy. I feel like I'm at work.
Hey, listen, I'm in a mess. I just moved. We had a big move over the week. We told you guys it was going down. I'm here in the new spot. So pardon the mess for everybody watching. There's not really much to look at, but it's just like Mark. It's gonna build up every time you see it. It's gonna be something different in here. But of course, MC in the building. I don't even want to dress it up because we got a lot to talk about on the show. We got a lengthy show. It's already late. We already recording late. So we got a special guest over here. Thank you, Kameron Hay from Complex, showing up. We about to get the hot takes going. I call this episode the War Room because this is what we talking.
Cam was ready to jump in and do this for a solid minute once he's seen the topics that were at hand, though. So I am happy that he's here this week. I need a little bit of backup. You know what I'm saying?
Because I said in the chat today, you know what I'm saying, and we'll do a little bit of catch up in a second. But I said in the chat, I said I need some debate. I feel like there's not enough debate. You know what I mean? And I said I need to see MC versus Josh. And MC's like, I don't want to do it.
It's a handicap match.
Yeah.
It's not a handicap match. It could just be. I just got a manager on this. Like I got a manager just watching the referee, making sure that nothing funny happens.
I don't know if J5 is a referee though.
I could be referee. Here's the thing. Right. I truly have no horse in this race. Truly. I really do not.
And you both.
That bullshit. Okay,
I don't know if I believe that.
I have no horse in this race. I'm a fan of both Kendrick Lamar and Drake. I mean, obviously I listen to one more than the other. I think that goes for a lot of people that's in this little group here, because just based on what they both offer. But I think that we now, like last episode, we were just talking. It just began. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have a response. We didn't have anything going on. This week, we're fresh. We got a response today. I see. We said we got to record today. It just so happens. Thank God I was moving and we had to push the episode back, because if we would have been late as hell if we recorded on Sunday, we wouldn't have known anything.
Yeah, I'm glad we caught it. Serendipitous for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I told y'all, man. That was gonna stand and deliver. Y'all was doubting it. He's never gonna respond. He's gonna respond. It was a lot of chatter. A lot of
Josh.
You're not gonna say nothing.
Here's my thing. Stop. You gotta be direct. And I think this is what we gotta do when we talk about this whole beef, because we've been arguing about this for 21 days at this point. We've been arguing for this for almost a month. And you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we're just getting right to it, because, I mean, it's the biggest topic in the world right now. Like, it's the biggest topic in the game, and I'll have my opinions on it as well a little bit later. But you are never direct when it comes to this topic. And I think that it is so funny that you say y'all did. I never said he was not going to respond.
Here's my thing. When I say y'all, I'm talking to the discourse in the vacuum that's out there. It's not just Mark. It's not just you. It's not just Cam. It's Twitter. It's Instagram, it's Reddit, it's 4chan.
What is 4chan saying about this? You know what is funny?
Everyone thought Kendrick wouldn't respond. He'd take the high road. Even just the last couple of days, there was even in our Discord, it was a lot of, he probably won't even respond. He's not gonna respond. It was a lot of that. Don't tell me I'm lying.
Exactly. I don't remember Cam, Mark. I don't remember anybody
saying that there was not going to be a response.
Oh, here I for sure heard a lot of that. He's not going to respond. He doesn't have to respond. I mean, y'all probably being facetious, like, because y'all were seeing things that were said online. Yeah. But there's a lot of like, he's already won. He doesn't have to say anything. It's like, nah, like he gonna get to it in due time. And Tuesday, 8:24 a.m. was due time. I'm telling y'all, ain't no leaks. Ain't no academics premiere. Ain't no beat switch ups. Nah,
what was the beat switch up?
YouTube and Twitter.
There was 2 beat switch ups in the song.
No, I'm talking about the original beat for push ups and the beat that was released.
Oh,
it wasn't no AI questions. It was none of that. It was just Kendrick Lamar on YouTube, 8:24. Shout out to Kobe. And I think beyond just if you think he won, lost, whatever you think is going on, him standing on it like that needs to be applauded.
No,
like it wasn't no skittish let me test this. Maybe they think it's AI, maybe they think it's real. It was just like, nah, I'm here. And I've been saying this in the chat, like, salute to Kendrick, his team, PG Lang. You're not about to get no leaks coming from them. Like, that's an airtight ship. They not industry darlings, or they might be industry darlings, but they're not. They don't have a cord of industry friends. It's not like it's just a lot of people getting sent the record, and people even close to them not even hearing the record. There's actually, and I'm not gonna say no names, there's a lot of people victory lapping on Twitter, Instagram, just the internet in general right now, who aren't even close to PG Lang, but acting like it just because they know PG Lang is not gonna say nothing. Yeah. And it's amazing to see. But yeah, first and foremost, I just want to applaud him for just putting it out there. Like, I think that has to be said in this battle, because there's been a lot of like pump faking on both sides. I think even like the Kanye like that remix, like up and down, Metro take the picture up, put it up, then take it down. Like, it's just been a lot of like, I'm not standing on it. And Kendrick, West Coast nigga, standing on business.
I think he properly set himself apart from the rest of the static with this. Yeah. Right? It's very much like, I'm not really standing with Metro or Future. This was what I wanted to do. And you know what I mean? And I think that obviously it was a calculated move for sure. I think that it's what kicked everything off. But I think with this, he's basically like, this is what I wanted. That's what I said last episode. We ready for the main event. I don't want no raw shit. I don't really want to see Future having no lyrical battle with Drake, because that's just not the type of guy he is. I don't even want to see the Metro part of it, because I just feel like that part's weird too. But I think that the main event is these two guys. And I think my immediate reaction, song came out, 6 minutes. I think somebody had actually given that away about it. Someone had, I did remember a couple people saying that it was 6 minutes and that it was going to be a lengthy disc. I don't remember where it came from, but I think what it was to me is that this is a song that was super intentional. I think that there were a lot of really good jabs. Neither record that Drake had, nor did Kendrick. They don't have haymakers yet. They're not going for that yet. So right now, it's still very much like even. You know what I'm saying? You get in your shots about my height, my shoe size. I get in the shots about your abs and BBL and all this other shit. Like, it's very even on both sides. I think that with this record, it's very much like, okay, now we kind of see surgically how Kendrick is going to go at this thing. I think we finally see how he's going to go at it.
No, that's a great point. And I think I want to, before we even really dive in, I want to preface it. To your earlier point, I probably listen to Drake more than I listen to Kendrick. Yeah. I'm biased in this. I want to see just a good fight. Like, it's like when you're driving in your car, you see two bums fighting. You're like, I don't care who wins. I just want to see a good fight. Josh. No, I'm keeping it real with y'all. I think the biasness that y'all think I have comes from everyone just counting Kendrick out so fast. Like, just I think that was a lot of the and maybe it's not what the larger vacuum is saying, but very much in our chat is Josh versus 20, 1 versus 20. Like, that's very much what it is in our chat. Like,
you feel like this is 1 versus 20 right now?
In our chat, that's what it absolutely is.
No.
With the occasional off the ropes bands tagging, but it's like, I'm telling y'all, it's very much 1 versus 20 in our chat. And that's cool. I'm not mad at that, because like, at the end of the day, and that's the thing that I want to really get clear. It's like, Taylor Made, I thought that was the most creative diss in a long fucking time. Mm-hmm. Like, the Pac part had me dying. The Pac part especially had me laughing, because there was a meme going around of Pac and Kendrick talking, and it was like, is he fat? Like, say fuck his bitch. Like, I just thought that was funny. He might have saw that meme and was like, I got it.
But, to your point, like, a lot of this, and this kind of goes into the discourse too, a lot of this beef, and it's strange, right? Because a lot of this, the narrative is sometimes you're finding it on Twitter. And I think that's what Drake's going to. I think as much as people on Twitter are going for the low-hanging fruit, it's very much on the other side. I feel like that the artists are also going for that and having that in there. So like, I think that's one thing about the song that had me kind of like, we kind of heard it. Like, some of these angles, like, I feel like Kendrick could have used years ago. But I also get frustrated because I was like, Ross came out with a lot of this stuff. And that's why I was like, the Ross shit, like, go away.
But that's my thing. Like, I that was a lot of the discussion I had today too. But it's like, here's my thing. It's a rap battle. It's about cleverly rapping well. So it's not a documentary. I'm not looking for the expose, the new information. Like, I don't care if it's been used before. If you use it in a clever way, it's a shot. Like, so I think it's not too much we don't know about either of these guys.
Right.
Like
15 years.
That we're gonna have to find out. You know what I mean? Like it's what's out there is what's out there.
Yeah.
So I really don't be looking for like the new info. I just think I want to hear clever bars, and I think they've both been doing that. But I don't know, man. Like I think earlier you just said like there was no. I won't say there was no haymakers. There was a lot of jabs on this last joint from Kendrick, but there was some like straight hooks. Like even just kind of like the psychological shit that he was kind of going at, the Canadian shit, the father's like the father shit. Like even if that's been used by Pusha T, I think Pusha T did it in a very like swinging wildly type way. Yeah. And Kendrick did it in a way like, nigga, like, are you teaching your son morals and value? Like, it's just the way.
Calm. Cause he calm through most of that shit. So like the first part is just like you spiraling, you going out of control. Like this is what you wanted. You know what I mean? And I think that like I just hate so much of the discourse being guided by certain voices in this, right? Like you could look at what Drake's doing and saying he's spiraling. I'm looking at it like, no, he wants to battle. He's bored. I think the game. I think ultimately. This is an artist to me who's been putting out to me the same album over and over again because there's no one that's challenged him in the way that Kendrick Lamar could challenge him. And a lot of people might say that, and I've said it myself, like I don't see these two as like making the same type of music, but I think the competitiveness between these two is what drives both of them. I think Kendrick probably looks at this as a competitive drive too, and he wants to do that. You could hear it through this song. I feel like these are two guys that like they both move the needle in their own way. And Drake has to prove that he can go at a lyrical guy, and Kendrick has to prove that he could go at one of the biggest pop rap stars in the world. You know what I mean? And I think for that, both of them to me are doing a fantastic job. I can't really like what I hated about the record, and we'll get to some of the narrow. We'll narrow it down to some of the lines. As soon as it comes out, Drake's done. It's over, and I'm like. Like, did we forget that like there's two other records out? But no, one of those records don't count. Like, yes, it does. It absolutely does count. Like, if I had to say, like, Super Ugly got taken off of everything. You can't find Super Ugly from Jay-Z unless you like go down the rabbit hole on YouTube and find that shit. You know what I'm saying? There has been deleted songs. That don't mean that doesn't matter within the culture of the fight. But I think with Euphoria, getting back to that. I think that it made me like, yo, it's finally a battle. We got a battle now. You know what I mean? And I think that I sat back and I said, okay, he's finally here now. Cam, what was your first reaction after you listened?
I mean, I felt the same way. I think it's safe to say that like that and Euphoria, in my opinion, this is the best Kendrick's rapped in a while because he doesn't rap often. We all know that. Like before Mr. Morale, it was a break, it was a gap. I don't think he had this same type of energy on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers consistently all the way through. Like that was my biggest question when it came to Kendrick, when it came to a rap beef and a battle. Like we hadn't really seen him directly have to battle somebody for a prolonged period of time the way we have with Drake. So like I didn't know if he was built for it per se, as like, you know, being able to. I think Josh said in our chat, we didn't know if Kendrick was even funny or not, bro. We didn't know what he was capable of for real. So I like going in, I had to put my money on a person who I've seen in battle before, whether they had won all of their fights or not. Like we had seen Drake battle plenty of times. But like that was like the first time I started to be like, okay, wait a minute. He might be built for it. And then when I heard this, I was kind of the same way. Like at first it started off kind of slow and like it dropped so early in the morning. Like I'm just starting work. Like I'm like, my mind is not all the way there to like sit down and like really listen to it. So you hear the Teddy Pendergrass start off. I'm like, yo, this shit about to put me to sleep, bro. Like, so I listened to it, circle back probably like 10 minutes later. And then that's when I started like kind of catching stuff. Like, and I think you referenced it, like the low hanging fruit stuff is what Twitter is kind of like grabbing onto, latching onto to talk about. But like the Jay Prince shit is like some of the crazy shit he said on there. Jay Prince, like your father, killer, dementia running your family. Like that whole little thing was crazy to like, am I battling ghosts or AI? That's crazy. Nobody really kind of picking up on that. Like he's picking, that's the conversation at hand right now for like the last 3 weeks. It's been like AI has become part of the conversation of the battle. And Drake, like we all agree, Taylor Made was pretty clever using the Snoop and Pac, but Kendrick cleverly, flipped that on him. Like this isn't a 20v1. This is a 1 versus 20. If I got to battle you and all your ghostwriters, that's a clever flip on the what the fuck is this, a 20v1 bar? Like I feel like he said a lot of stuff here that I feel like it's kind of not being picked up on because it's easy to, talk about the Drake blackness thing or, like the BBL or the abs or everything. Like that's the stuff people are immediately going to get retweets and the most laughs about. But I think Kendrick said a lot of stuff here that people haven't really like gone at Drake for directly yet. Like we've seen people kind of like make jokes in passing about Jay Prince is extorting Drake or this, that, and third, but nobody's ever really like laid it out. And he didn't say, Drake was getting extorted, but nobody's ever like really laid out the Drake Jay Prince relationship on wax the way Kendrick did here. Like, so I think there's a lot of stuff here to unpack. 6 minutes, and I think he really picks up as the song goes on. Like he builds momentum as the song like goes on, and you get closer and closer to the end. And when he ultimately starts rapping in the Toronto accent and everything, so I think it's a strong response, bro. Like I think we all like push-ups. I like push-ups. We all like Taylor Made. I think this is a worthy response. And now, like, I'm with J5. We have a real battle at this point. Yeah. Like, I'm happy we get to see this because we don't have new generation rappers for real, like, right now underneath these guys who really give us these moments and that I even think are good enough to give us these moments to where we care about. Yeah. And now you have a Drake and a Kendrick Lamar, probably the two best rappers or biggest rappers of the last, 15 years.
You could say best.
Best rappers of the last 15 years. Yeah. And so, like, this is kind of like the ultimate winner take all type of situation. Like it's been a debate, a battle for however many years it's been. Who's the top guy for real? Drake was always seen the numbers guy, Kendrick the critical darling.
Yeah.
Like, and now it's like it's a toss up. Like the person who wins this is gonna walk away probably crowned officially. Like you were the guy of this generation for real.
I will say this, and we could debate this until to a point too. There will not be a winner from this battle.
I agree.
I don't think so. I absolutely agree.
There's too much chatter. Like, there's no one who will be like, that's the clear-cut winner.
Right.
I think early on I might have, and I was just joking. I want to make that very clear. I was like, oh, Drake's about to get Ja ruled. And it's not going to.
Listen.
It's not going
to. I'm glad you brought like I respect it.
Talk about it.
I respect it.
I think for me, when I said that, and I still stand on it, I think this is what Kendrick is kind of even getting at in the larger frame of the song. It's like, nigga, I'm doing this for the culture. Like, if you look back at what 50 was doing, 50, I'm doing this for the streets. You're not the streets. Mm-hmm. Drake is arguably the culture of the moment, and Kendrick's like, no, nigga, I'm the culture. Like, I'm speaking for them. So that's kind of what I meant by Ja ruled. I just think again, fan bases are too large for someone to fall off completely. Yeah. And, I think Academics said it earlier today. Drake texted him and said, like, I'm energized. Mm-hmm. And that sounded like to me like, hey, that break I said I was taking, I'm not taking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put out some more records, and there's an album coming this year.
Yeah.
Like I interpreted that much from it. Like, oh, I'm dropping an album this year.
And isn't that really crazy that like we are still, and this is unprecedented in rap. Rap is not as old as you think. You know what I'm saying? Rap is not, it's still young. It's still it's crazy that in our lifetime we've seen two rappers be on top for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to say I'm the greatest of all time. Like, I know a lot of people will be like, it's Jay, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's Nas, it's whatever. Like, they were not on top as long as these two guys have been. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is the argument right now. And I think in terms of what Cam is saying and what Josh is saying, it's winner take all in the sense that like they are putting the eyes right back on hip hop again in 2024. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like everyone's talking about this. And to circle back to the fan bases, that's why I was so frustrated at first about this beef, because it's 15 years in, people are mad hyping it like, yo, Drake's about to be done. I'm like, bro, even if he was 15 years in and he had fallen, like, you know what I'm saying, and he loses this and it's over, that's a really good career. 15 years is a really long time to have been making money as long as he's been making, especially for Kendrick. I don't think it's going to be over because at the end of the day, their fan bases are so diametrically opposed. That's why I feel like J. Cole kind of bowed out. And I'm not saying that it was cool or okay. His fan bases are way too close to both of theirs. because he gives people both of them. So he's like, yo, if I lose this, I would actually lose a portion of the people. Like, it's not going to be clear cut like that for him, I feel like.
Yeah, no, Cole, I'm telling you, hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
And like looking back, Cole was smart as fuck.
Yeah.
He got out of the way.
Yeah.
Because it's just a lot of bombs just in between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wouldn't have been for either party, all parties, it wouldn't have been as effective if Cole was in the middle of this.
Yeah.
And I think both rappers kind of respected Cole for that. They both jabbed at him a little bit, but it was mostly like you my nigga, but come on. Like you know what this is about.
I liked what Drake said on Push Ups. He's just like, I don't care what Cole said, that shit was whack. You know what I'm saying? I like what Kendrick said on this one. I think that Kendrick is like, I love the viewpoint of him saying like, how are y'all saying that you guys are a big three or top two and you are friends? You know what I'm saying? Just like this should be a competition, and he's bringing that back. And I think that even with Drake, him totally being like, all right, fuck it, the Cole shit was whatever. You know what I'm saying? I think even him doing that is indicative of him like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. We was wilding. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it should be like this. I think that this is the main event, but I think ultimately when it comes down to it, like, it's exciting to see this happen, but what's killing me is like everything outside of this shit is just, and I had to ask a couple people this today. I was like, I think we all lived through Ether Takeover, Super Ugly, Realest Nigga Alive. We all lived through that, right? Like, was it this bad, or am I just having like Mandela effect?
Absolutely. Maybe worse. I mean, you got to think all the forums and chats, and like back then it was a lot of forum talk, and like even just in person, like I remember being in 8th grade and it was like niggas who fuck with Nas and niggas who fuck with Rockefeller, and like it was just like a thing. Like it was like, oh, like I'm rolling with Jay, like nah, fuck them. Like go ahead.
Why do you think there was, and this is like an interesting point too, why do you think there was a clear-cut winner with Jay and Nas? And I have my reasons why, but why do you think there was a clear-cut winner there, whereas there won't be one here?
Well, I see. Here's my thing. First question is, was there a clear-cut winner? And then second question is, it wasn't really, because it's like people kind of thought Nas. We'll see, but then people were like, "Yo, Jay." I know a lot of people say Jay's the winner.
New York.
The city said Nas. The city said Nas.
Yeah,
I mean, New York voted, but it's like that shit. There was still attacks after that whole vote. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
That was a round, if you call it anything.
Yeah.
Like which we're going through right now.
It feels
so like you can't really say that like Jay or Nas won. Like Jay was the more successful one. When you look back at the I Declare War, it was like Jay was like, nigga, I'm ending this shit and letting you know. Like it was more on the West Coast. I ain't gonna front. For my purview, Jay won.
Right.
So
why did he win to you though? Like why was Ether not enough for you?
Because I think Jay, even coming beyond Jay, it was like Jay still was dropping bombs. Super Ugly was an attack.
Yeah.
It was such an attack that he was just like, damn, I went too far.
Yeah.
Like, damn, nigga, like I took it too far. Like, and I don't really remember what Nas had beyond Super Ugly. And then you got BlkPrint 2, like on the BlkPrint 2 album, like Jay was still bombing on them. Yeah. Like, so I just always. You said what?
Some people hate he was going in Nas.
Yeah, some people hate. Yeah, that's one of my favorite Jay-Z songs ever, and he was killing Nas on that record.
Nas had Realest Nigga Alive with the Scarface Manolo line, which was one of the illest ways to end the song ever. And he had Quick to Back Down, and I think that was where he kind of ended.
It was like 2 years later, yeah.
Yeah, he was
I don't know. I can't say Nas won that clear cut. Yeah. And I just think it's like success is the greater metric for who won.
Yeah.
And we know who was more successful there. So I think Jay won in my eyes.
Yeah. I think another thing is that like what's different to me is that fan bases are way more congealed. Like I feel like you're allowed to be in your bubble over here in a way that you weren't when we were still kind of discovering. Like you're right. There was forum arguments, but it was very much like open source. It was very much like, okay, like we're just going to argue all day. Some people will like put their fucking head in the sand with this shit and never listen to anything else. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell certain people right now that it's still even and there's still more. You know, there's more to go. You can't say any of that type of stuff right now. Like people are judging it to me in a way that like I just feel like people just weren't judging it back then. Like I
also think like it's too many people. I think hip hop media now is too many like stands in that are like dressed up as journalists, like or like people that actually matter. And I can't speak to, you know, Jay-Z, Nas the way you guys can because I'm younger than y'all, but like seeing this in real time, you're seeing people who get real bylines at publications and magazines, like drawing a line in the sand and planting their flag. And I don't think that that's the most. It's muddying the conversation. I don't think it's the most ethical way to go about this. It's one thing for fans and, you know, regular people to do it, but when you see people in media, even like academics or Joe Budden, like they're kind of mal. Even like you're seeing people lean a certain way and using their platforms to, like, you know, influence the conversation. Yeah. Like I do think that is kind of hurting it as well to an extent.
Because like, like when you get to a conversation about colorism, and I think that like that's a part of this thing, which is strange that it is, but it is. It was brought up by Ross. It's brought up again by Kendrick at great length in like the kind of the final half of the song where it's the most scathing of Euphoria. And I think that people are strangely taken aside. Like I'll say this right now. Like I feel like if you were to say these bars 10, 20 years ago, I think they're a little more accepted. And I think that just goes without saying because there wasn't kind of a movement to do better in that sense back then. So I feel like that's a little bit more accepted. I feel like now having those bars, I get that people say that there's no rules in battle rap. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like it gets to a level where it's like, all right, man, like y'all both black. You know what I mean? Like y'all both black people. But then you have people saying like, I'm glad I got 4 black grandparents and I'm you know what I'm saying, all this other shit, and my ancestors is this. I'm like, bro, the world is so much different than what it was 20 years ago. Like people they're intermingling. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a different outlook. Like I don't like that part. I don't like that part of the beef. Everything else is fine to me. I don't like that part.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, but I want to acknowledge it's happening on both sides. Mm-hmm. Like someone just sent me a meme that said Kendrick's wife is Albanian and Norwegian.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like I hate that. That's like. Why do we even care? Like it's just.
But why do we go there? Like,
but I think with Kendrick going there, it's valid because it's a thing with Drake. It's a chink at his armor. It's the same way you say someone's fat or Kendrick is short. Like it's just something you say about someone who's biracial. It's very schoolyard.
It's schoolyard. I was at school. Like, well, you're short. Well, your mom was white. I'm just like,
it's very schoolyard.
Neither one of them can control. Like, neither one of us can control the situation.
Yeah, but I'm not totally mad at the Kendrick shots there. I think it's funny. But I do agree. I hate that it's like turning into a hip hop civil war story. It's like, huh? But
my issue is like, yo, we in mixed company. You know what I'm saying? Like, we in mixed company. There's a lot of people like Merriam-Webster is commenting on. I'm like, what did you? I'm like, when y'all heard those parts, Merriam-Webster, social media manager, what part did you that resonated with you?
I mean, even something that Complex tweeted something. You know, I don't want to talk about the company, but on the music page, they tweeted something like the N-word, and I'm just like, I don't think Brand should be leading it. Like, no. I want to retweet and say that's the part you picked to highlight. Like, it's so
what's funny?
6 months or 6 minutes, and y'all hone in on that part. Like, it just feels cheap for a brand or anyone really. Like, I think it's good to comment on. I mean, discourse is discourse. Mm-hmm. Conversation is conversation. Mm-hmm. But I think we can't ruminate on that too much because there's so much more. Yeah. Like Cam said earlier, there's so much more to unpack.
No, I think you said it's some hooks landed. I do kind of think if it ain't a haymakers landed, I think Taylor made was some valid stuff, and I think that this song got some very. It's not just jabs and body shots. It's both guys' chins have been grazed a little bit at this point,
and they're responding. And what I love about it is that like Kendrick directly responds to things said about him. Drake directly responds to like that twice, granted, but he also brings up points where it's like, again, I watch a lot of URL, like Cam know, Josh know, like I watch a lot of URL, so it's like you're waiting to see them angles get picked apart. You know what I'm saying? The only advantage they have is that they have days to come up with these. These guys got to make it up. You know what I'm saying? Within a 2-week period, all this other, they have days. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm seeing where Drake he's a big URL fan. I'm seeing where he gets a lot of that from. I'm seeing where Kendrick's doing it completely different, and he's making it like an event record. That's what Euphoria is to me. He makes it like everything he does is an event record. And I think I just love the opposing styles. And I think that people aren't talking about that enough because they're so quick to be like, well, I'm going to say he won. Drake's he got 17 days to come back. And I'm just like, that shouldn't be the conversation. The conversation should be, I want to hear the best song. I want to hear the best diss track. And then it's over with. You know what I'm saying? I want to see them jab and then it's over.
And I think a thing too, like, it's funny that people were putting Kendrick on a time clock this whole time, and then when you hear the record, he's not just responding to push-ups; he's responding to Tailor Made as well. Like, I'm pretty sure if Tailor Made doesn't happen, we probably get this track a little bit sooner. But you can hear certain like points in this song. He's addressing Tailor Made specifically, so it is funny that when you really think about it, like that came out at the end of March.
Yeah.
At the end of April, people are acting like it's been months. Yeah, we've been waiting. This is actually kind of moving pretty fast if you really think about it.
All things considered, it is. I mean, you
got 4 tracks.
To go back to Jay and Nas, we got Takeover in really kind of leaked to August. We get into September, or he performed it in July, at Summer Jam. We don't actually get the official until September, and then you don't get Ether till December. You know what I'm saying? So that was a whole 3-4 month period where people was like, Nas is done. But it goes to the kind of the ADD nature of everything going on, and that's where it stands. But I think that the real debate comes here, right? We're at the end of round one. Kendrick has responded. He's addressed both tracks. He started it. He set it off. At the end of round one, where do y'all land with these songs? I don't want to say who won. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's reductive because at the end of the day, I think we just want to see the best of the best, right? What were the best songs to come out of this first round? Like, what are your rankings of the songs right now?
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking me, and I'm like, this is just my, like, I'm telling you, this is so unbiased. I think Like That is still the best thing to come out of this. Like, I don't know if we're counting first person shooter in this. Are we counting first person shooter?
I don't, because you know why I don't count that shit? Yeah. Because I didn't even fucking know it was a diss. I was like,
we didn't get the real like Kendrick hinted at it on
yeah, he said it.
Like, so now we actually get the full story.
Yeah, so I was gonna bring that up. Like, there's so many little nuggets. Like, they asked him to be on first person shooter. He said no. Like, that's why I really think, like, I don't know. You asked me a question. I'm gonna tell you, so far I feel like Kendrick's winning. I like that's my favorite song out of everything that's dropped as in the diss era of this all. And then I really like I think he had the advantage of being able to counter, but I really like how Euphoria countered what Drake had to say. And if anything, you could say it evened it up. But I still think Like That's the best record.
What about you, Cam?
I think it goes without saying, like That. I don't count that as a diss, but it started all of this, and I do think it's the best song out of everything that's come out. So I kind of put that in its own separate like space, to be honest with you, because I don't count it as a diss record.
It's a verse.
Push-ups. Yeah. Tailor Made and Euphoria are the actual diss records. I would probably go. I like Tailor Made more than Push-ups. I know we're not allowed to say that, but like, I think Tailor Made is a more poignant diss to Kendrick Lamar than.
I agree.
And so I would probably edge Euphoria probably as the best song right now. It's 6 minutes. Like Josh said, he had the advantage of countering 2 songs. He got to listen to Push-Ups. Like, Drake got the advantage to like wait for both of the future Metro albums to come out and respond all of that on Push-Ups. Mm-hmm. Like, Kendrick got the advantage of, all right, Drake shot with Push-Ups and he shot with Tailor Made. I'm gonna respond with Euphoria. So I'll say Euphoria probably out of all of the diss records I'll probably edge it over Tailor Made, but I don't think it's a huge gap. And then I would probably put Push-Ups third, even though I like the song a lot. So I guess right now at the end of the first round, if we judging it, I would say it's like 10-9. Like Kendrick, like if you had to judge it like it's boxing, I would say 10-9 right now. But I think we all know Drake is probably about to come back pretty soon, based off of what he said at the end of Taylor Made and how Push-Ups ended. So I think this is going to be a pretty back and forth type of thing. Like it's going to be, our opinions will probably change each song that drops from each artist for the most part.
Yeah, I probably think Taylor Made's my favorite of them because I listen to it the most out of all of them. It's just fucking funny. I'll go for the troll.
When you said Taylor Made, I just said in my head, Kendrick, we need you. It was gonna say
like I'm always for the troll angle. I love the idea that like Drake is kind of like, and this is just purely in output, not in actual like personality. Like he's playing the 50 role. You know what I'm saying? Like he's playing the 50 role, and I felt like Taylor Made was such a G Unit Radio move that like I gotta edge it for, because like Euphoria is a great response. I think it's something I won't listen to as much as I listen to Taylor Made. Like Taylor Made was just like, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga? Like I was literally like, yo, he's a psychopath. You know what I'm saying? Like he's legitimately crazy when he put this out. So I'll probably say Taylor Made, then Euphoria, and then Push-Ups, and then like I have my issues with Like That. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably alone in this. I really just want the original version. I don't like the diss. I can't listen to it because it is. I like to hear my future shit, and then it's got the diss there. That's just me. I'm probably unpopular opinion.
I think Cam brought it up earlier about how Kendrick kind of like the energy of the track got higher on the Euphoria. Yeah. I think he did the same thing with Like That. Like Future verse was very much a Future verse, and then you got the energy of a Kendrick verse, and it's just like it turns up. Like I was in the club over the weekend, and they play Push-Ups, and then they play Like That right behind it, and it's like it's not even a competition on which one is like getting the crowd more hype and just like a more palatable record. But I did want to touch on something that you just mentioned before Mark kind of gives his Why
are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Because I know Mark got so much to say. But I do want to say I do love the comedy factor of this battle. I think I mentioned it, Kendrick, we need you, the West Coast savior. It's some of the funniest shit I've heard in a long fucking time. And then Kendrick came with his like, we found out Kendrick is funny. The you cheesing me from? Like, what is it, the braids? Like, that's just funny. So I'm glad that they're keeping it funny still and not just being so rappity rap battle, like I'm better than you. Like, keep it interesting. I think we're in a day and age where you gotta be funny. And I think even to like the comedy factor, put it on wax. Like I see Drake is a meme guy. So it's like he gonna be on IG story. Like he just posted some a couple minutes ago of like what movie is it? Julia Stiles.
What Cam? What? I've seen 10 Things I Hate About You. What is he trying to say here? What do you?
It's Kendrick in the middle of the song where he mocked the DMX Breakfast Club thing, where he's like, "I hate the way you walk. I hate the way you dress."
Yeah.
Posted that scene from her where she reading a poem talking about, "I hate this about you. I hate this about you." Like it's just a funny play on that. But I think that's when, like Josh said, like I've already seen that part of the song clipped and memed on Twitter. Like the New York government used it for Joel Embiid. Like it really just happened today, bro. Like so, like I appreciate the humor and the comedic like aspect of this beat for sure. I think people are taking it way too seriously online. Mm-hmm. When you step back and you listen to it, and both guys because like they're rapping at a high level. Because it's funny.
There's a level of parasocialism that goes along with these two guys. I think really more so with Drake than really Kendrick a lot of times. Like, even though they both have rabid fan bases, don't get me wrong, but it's very parasocial. It's very like people like attach themselves to these people and it becomes like more than life to them. You know what I mean? And I think that's the scary part. I think that it clouds your judgment. Like there's some people that think Drake can do wrong. And I've said this from the beginning. I don't think that he's completely innocent in anything that these people have against him. I'm pretty sure that he probably fucked them over in some way, shape, or form. I just didn't like the approach that they did, like the mass amount of people. I'm like, just get to the one person, and then I'll fuck with it. And even on Kendrick's side, I think he might have waited too long, but people don't want to hear that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear that. I think that there's a level of like connection with these guys, and it goes to show these are the two rappers in our generation that people have that connection with. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good thing and a bad thing too.
Well, one thing I'll say about the waited too long, they both waited 2.5 weeks between sponsors. So
okay,
pretty.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
I just thought that'd be a thing, man. People say, "Hey, we waiting till Kendrick Davis had a countdown for my guy."
Hey, academics had a countdown for a guy. Okay, Mark, where you stand at before so we can get off this topic? We went damn near 45 minutes on this one thing. Where do you stand at, Mark? I don't need Senator Cameron. You've been relatively quiet. I need you to turn up. Where you feel this is headed, or what do you feel about it so far?
I don't think there's anything to be quiet about. I'm just listening to the takes, listening to the responses. It's a lot. It's a lot online. Y'all not tired? Y'all not tired yet?
Are you?
Am I? No, because I don't think I've ever been. I think I've been this disgusted from rap opinions for a decent amount of time. Not at this level. I think this has highly, highly surprised me at what we've done.
What do you mean?
And it's a shame. I think it's very exciting to know that Kendrick has dropped his first diss track in Euphoria. I think that ends up being something that, at least in my eyes specifically, I wanted to hear if you are being referred to online as a boogeyman. And it was well worth the wait. I think it ends up being the winner of this quote. If we had to, I know we're not doing winners of quote unquote rounds, but it ends up edging out. If you're going to do it versus push-ups, I think it pretty easily takes care of push-ups. Push-ups was cool, was fun, was entertaining. I don't think it has the lyrical ability, in my opinion, of Euphoria. If you do it against Taylor Made, the pendulum is a little bit more even, and that ends up being something that's a little bit easier in that case. But in my eyes, I think the internet opinion has blown my mind so much on what we have done with bias and what we have done with just personal opinion. Cam had talked about a lot of these rap pundits and all of that having their opinions and so on and so forth. You can have it by all means. If you have a bias, there's nothing wrong with bias. Bias is fun. Bias is engaging. Keeps you tuned into your favorite artist, so on and so forth, but at least be transparent about it. I think that's the thing that bothers me the most. There's a lot of rap opinion in a lot of this that is hid under the guise of making sure that we keep this thing of ours authentic and so on and so forth. I see a lot of this thing of ours, we taking it back. And I'm just like, this is a lot.
Bro, the idea that Drake is like, okay, outsider in the sense that, yes, he's Canadian, but outsider, they're talking like he's an outsider because he's not black. And I'm like, we going too far at this point.
And that is really interesting because there's a lot of people that are quote unquote, I guess what's the best term for it? Guests in this thing called hip hop that are laughing at a guest as a guest. And that is blowing my like what's funny? What is funny to you?
You talking about a certain writer, book author?
There's a lot of people doing it. Writers, fans, Twitter accounts with 10 followers, Twitter accounts with 15,000 followers that are guests laughing at a guest. And it's ironic. I just want to know what's funny in certain cases.
It's a pile-on. I think ultimately it's just a pile-on. People love to pile on anything. I think that's where you get that from. People love to pile on. It's like they see, like, the thing is that you didn't see this reaction from all these people when Drake was doing it because it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like Kendrick, for all intents and purposes, to Josh's point, he is speaking for the culture right now. He's speaking for the people that are counter cult. They're tired of Drake. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're tired of him. You know what I mean? If you were to put this in any terms, it's like they're tired of the fucking New York Yankees winning. They're tired of fucking John Cena winning all the time. They're tired of that shit. And they want to see him lose. That's what you pay for. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're paying for, is to see him get knocked a peg off of his mountain, because that's ultimately what's interesting. And it's kind of turned Kendrick into an underdog when he's really not. They're both like extremely successful.
I kind of differ though. I mean, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I was going to say that's something that also bothers me. I don't understand how you can be both Deebo and Craig at the same time in this battle. If you are the uppercutting, big, giant that rides around on a bike and smacks niggas around day to day, be that. But then don't let a diss track happen. And then from certain fans' perspective, it's just, yeah, you got to do it. You got to help. You got to help win rap back. You got to bring it back to the African Americans. Don't let Canadian influence jump in and do that. You can't be Craig and Deebo at the same time. I think that's extremely, extremely corny. And truthfully, I think that everything with Euphoria would be celebrated a lot more, at least in my eyes, if we did not try and give this win before Euphoria. I think the fact that people were doing a lot in trying to give retroactive points or easy points towards a battle with 0 diss tracks, I can't even explain how much I want you out of this conversation. Like that is something that bothered me a lot.
I get that. I mean, because we all noticed this. The conversation went from he don't got to respond, he won already, he number 1 on the charts, to now today everyone's like, yeah.
Like, exactly. We did it. But you gave him this before the diss track. Like, what? How bad do you really want it to win? You want him to win with silence.
Yeah.
You want him to win with he doesn't need to respond because the tracks are ass.
It's so transparent, bro. Like it really is transparent. You got to agree, Josh. They were already handing him the win.
I have a theory on all this. First of all, my theory starts here. I think Mark would be more of a Kendrick fan if he wasn't on social media right now for this whole discourse that's going on. That's my first theory.
Forget right now. Maybe the last 11 years. I think I'd probably be more if I wasn't.
And I also think, I mean, it's funny. I feel like you kind of threw a little shade with his first diss track. That's a funny way to put it.
I don't
think that's shade. That's a factual statement.
I mean, you could say he had little jabs all throughout his career. They've been jabbing at each other. Whatever. If you want to call it first diss track, I don't know. Who cares? My thing with it is, like, I think we're at a point, you guys kind of mentioned it, with just Kendrick being so high up and Drake being so big in the culture that people and Drake fans, I think he is the culture. And we see where he's like not, quote unquote, when there's certain little things, when he has the barrettes in his hair, when he had the braids, like Drake is kind of very much corny, for lack of a better word, and things he does, but he's so good at the rapping and the music making part of it that a lot of that shit gets excused. And I think right now, Kendrick is coming in and being like, calling them that. He's called him corny in a couple of different ways throughout this battle, from the like that to Euphoria. And I think it's now him even saying like, I am the culture, is like, oh yeah, I'm coming to fight for the culture and push you out of it. And I think that is why you have so many people online rallying around Kendrick before the battle is even done. I think that's really what a lot of you guys are seeing right now.
Kendrick was wearing cowboy boots and some strange regalia a couple.
Yeah, I mean, but he could say, but Kendrick can go back and say, I'm doing this because Compton Cowboys and I'm from the West Coast. Like, he can kind of go back and have a lineage of it. I think even when he mentioned in the track, like, I had FUBU, you had Tommy Hilfiger, like, those are like, yo, you not a part of the culture for real. You kind of like on some like outsider trying to be in. And I think that's where, like, that's something to just pay attention to as this battle goes on. It's going to very much be, I'm really from this, you not from this.
People have tried that angle with a lot of different rappers before. They've tried that angle with a lot of different rappers. People have tried to do it with Eminem. They tried to say that he's been a cultural outsider for a while. I think that lands in the short term. I think in the long term, I think when people bring up like impact, I think that ultimately, like, that's something that just that and I'm just speaking within the terms of the battle. I think that's ultimately something that won't stick. I think that, like, yes, it's true. You're not wrong in saying that, like, culturally he's outside. Like, I would never. Nobody want. Somebody said the most truthful thing that someone's ever said. We all wanted to dress like Jay-Z. We've never wanted to dress like Drake. We've never wanted to even look or do anything like him. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of things. The face tats, like a lot of the shit he does, even his tattoos. It's a lot of shit you could be like, that's not
weird. Cool. It is weird. But I think that that's a part. Like, I think where you really get him is, which sounds terrible because I was just shitting on it earlier, was talking about how he's kind of not He said it. Drake said it before. He's just like, I'm too white for the black people, and I'm too black for the white people. Like that. That's where that lands.
That don't fly.
Like that
don't fly.
That's where. But I think that's where that hits him the most. I think that he's relatively shaken off the baby mama stuff. He's relatively shaken off the kid stuff. Like I look at that on the disc, and I'm just like, okay, we've got there. When you talk about him, not only culturally, but like how the parental lineage and shit like that, that's the shit that gets to you. I think that's the shit that sticks more than culturally. Nobody fucks with you because it's just like he could go fucking sell out a stadium. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody fucks with him. You know what I mean? Like somebody's going to go see him.
But when you look at that selling out a stadium and you look at the fan base of the Drake show, it's like that can be your argument. It's like, yeah, you for them, you're not for us. And I think and even the people saying for us is the them too.
Yeah.
But
it was a lot of white people at the damn store. I saw Kendrick at Barclay.
There's a lot of white people that love all right.
But I'm saying, what Kendrick stands for as an artist and a person is more firmly cemented in culture, quote unquote. He's making music for black, like it's just what it is.
I don't feel like that's gonna carry too far. Like I feel like that's gonna carry to like the purists for sure. It's gonna carry to the purists. It's gonna carry to your Joe Buddens and your people that are online a lot. But I think that when people hear that type of shit, I feel like they're gonna just like what we said earlier, they're gonna gravitate to the salacious shit. That part's gonna get looked over because they're already gravitating towards it. We're talking about the culture part for 10 minutes right now, and people are probably like, oh yeah, he did say that. But then again, he did say he didn't know how to be a father because that's where they gravitate to. Like, I feel like it's a good first angle, but I feel like in order to really kind of like knock him out, like what Nas had on Ether to get at Jay was his looks. Again, same thing they doing for Drake too. But I think that it hit Jay a little bit differently because that was a huge point on him. But Nas also got to the fact that like there were other people that were better than him, and he knew it. And I think when he said that next to Beans you're whacked, he was just like, that was a conversation that was going on. You know what I'm saying? And I think that one thing that like and I think Drake even tried to do that too by saying he wasn't in top 3 because Travis was better. And I'm just like, that's flimsy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a flimsy angle. You should be saying that like J-Rock is better than you. You know what I'm saying? You should be saying shit like that where it's just like, I feel like they're both circling the point of where I want them to get to. And I'm hoping that one of them gets at that because it's like, it's not about all the outside shit. I feel like that's stuff that's not going to carry. It's about your real skill and what y'all are saying because these are two of the best rappers of my generation next to Young Thug. And I think that it's ultimately about like how they tackle this shit. So like, that's what's exciting to me. And I must say that I love having this conversation with y'all. Like I love y'all boys because this has been probably the best thing I've heard about this whole thing, and it was because it was us talking about it.
Sure. No, that's funny, man. Like I said this before, we mentioned it earlier too. Like they're reigniting hip hop, and they're reigniting our group chats. Like this is the most we've chatted in a long fucking time, and it's just exciting, man. It's a good time for hip hop. It's a good time for competitive spirit. Love that all this is going on during the NBA playoffs. It's just great, man. It just feels good. Like I'm really, really, really proud of these two because it's like they've been circling around this battle for so long, and now they're getting to it, and they're not slacking. They're not lacking. Like both of them are putting up a great fight.
Yeah.
I want to get to Josh. One thing he said in the chat though that I think is funny. And I think it would be hilarious if it does ultimately end up like this. He said that he thinks all of this ends with a Big 3 tour. Like,
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah.
All of this ends with a Big 3 tour. Like, how would people feel if that ultimately is how this ends? I can see a scenario where that does happen. Because if you kind of listen to Kendrick's song, he punching on Drake for sure, but he is kind of saying like, yo, like let's just keep this a friendly fade. Yeah. Like, yo, like you don't gotta get personal. Like
not even that. Beyond that, he telling him, I'm a fan of your shit.
Yeah.
Like he called him a goat. He said 2 goats.
Yeah.
He's saying like you be having me in the club, waving my hands. Yeah. Like he's like, I'm a fan. Like he's literally like, yo, I fuck with you. I fuck with you for melodies, not your tough guy talk. Like he is giving him his props. So I'm glad you brought that up, Cam, because I needed this to be time capsule somewhere. I absolutely believe this all ends in the Big 3 tour, aka I Declare War 2025.
Yeah,
and that's just it. Like we know Cole's dropping an album this year. we know Kendrick at this point has to have something coming this year. Mm-hmm. And I think Drake doesn't take his break. I think Drake, it's funny, there's this rumor. I mean, it's not even a rumor. It's Joe Budden just talking out his ass. But he's like, yo, Drake stays on tour. He's always going to tour. And I'm like, he's doing it because he's putting out great projects. He needs to work them shit. Yeah. So, like, I think we get another tour top of next year. And I think it's the Big 3 tour. Yeah. And I wouldn't even be mad at it, man. Like, those are the 3 top artists in the country and the world. And it's like, yo, go do fucking stadiums and then go on a world tour.
Because this is making them so much money already. I'm pretty sure Euphoria is going to be top 10 next week. You know what I'm saying? On the charts. I'm pretty sure. No. It's pretty sure.
Dropped on a Tuesday, went straight to DSPs. Yeah, like, it'll definitely be top 10 next week.
It'll be top 10 next week. Drake will drop. It'll be top 10 the next week. It's making them so much money. And you know who said something really, and I know people don't want to hear him say it, but like Kameron had a really good point. He just like, back in the day, I could have never imagined doing no shit like this. And he expressed his regret at going at Nas. Because he said, while I was going at Nas, we could have made so much money together. But I agree with him to an extent. I'm like, they got to get, they in my opinion, they got to get this out. Drake and Kendrick, they got to get all of this out so that we can stop having the debate. And if they win, either or, they got to accept it. You know what I'm saying? Whoever wins within their little pocket dimension or whatever the fuck it happens, they got to admit that they win. Get it out of your system and then go make money together. Because I've said this from the beginning. Me, Josh, and Mark have talked about this on the show. I would much rather have these two working together because their fan bases are also rabid. That if you bring them together, they're gonna make so much fucking money. They're gonna be the richest rappers in the world if they do that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure Cole is in the hallway like, come on, y'all, let's just get this shit over.
Cole got the group chat like,
come on, y'all.
What y'all doing?
I feel like Cole already set the rules of engagement. 2 songs, and then y'all done. Like y'all got it. Y'all scrapping in it, and then it's out. Like ultimately, like we get caught up, and I think as friends too, we get caught up in all of the hoopla and the bullshit. But ultimately, we want to see what's best for the culture. You know what I'm saying? And I think that for right now, this is best for the culture. And I think that I really just get upset that we will never see anything like this, at least not for another 10 years. Because who's gonna do this again?
I'll tell you who. Cardi and Uzi. Cardi, Uzi, Yachty. New Big 3.
No, man, it makes me sad because it's like, bro, like they've had to hold the game up for such a long time, man. When it's over, when they're done and they hang it up, like I just don't know where this goes at again. You know what I'm saying? They've paved so many ways and I said it myself, man. I feel like the only person that could really end them is like if somebody remember the kid on The Wire who killed what's his name?
Oh,
fucking
oh my god,
not Dookie, Michael, not Michael.
No, you're talking about, oh my god, he killed him in the grocery store.
Yeah,
Omar, he killed Omar.
Omar got killed.
Yeah.
It was the kid.
Yeah, the kid that killed him.
Yeah, I know it was the kid's name. I forgot his name.
Oh, the kid that killed him? It wasn't any of the 4 of the.
It was like a random.
It was like a rando.
It was the bad kid. It was the badass kid. But I feel like that's the only nigga that could kill off one of these niggas. Is like if a young nigga came out and said, if a young nigga rapper who had a bunch of buzz say, yo, y'all niggas old as fuck, and like it's over, bro. Like Drake
Anthony Edwards a rap.
Bro, I'm telling you.
Kennard.
Yes.
Kennard.
Yes, Kennard. There needs to be a Kennard out the young niggas, bro. And it might be JP, Bad Biddy. Anyway.
Come on. Hey, shout out to JP though, man. Breaking barriers.
Bro, JP and standing on it. You want to talk about standing on it? This nigga.
Stand on this.
This nigga. He
said, whoa, Diddy. He said, no, Diddy.
He said, yes, Diddy.
Yes, Diddy. Yes, Diddy.
Oh my God. Hey.